Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Chandler here for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. We have gone live today, or tonight, because obviously it's a very confusing situation at Doncaster Rovers right now. We don't know when the announcement is going to be coming out for the brand new manager. We did have something from Liam Hoden from the Free Press, literally in the last few hours. After numerous people trying to get some information from Liam Hoden about when the announcement's going to come about the new manager. And he did have this to say on the matter. This is official quote. As you can see, it is scrolling down the bottom of your screen. But this is what he had to say on the situation. So I've been asked a few times whether there'll be an announcement today. As I understand it, that was always unlikely. Board members were meeting this morning and speaking to candidates afterwards. Nothing was signed and sealed before today. So, I mean, it's a bit confusing, isn't it? You know, we thought there was going to be an announcement on Tuesday. Then we're hearing there was not going to be an announcement. Well, it was unlikely to be an announcement on Tuesday at all. And then we were hearing candidates being spoken to this morning, like today, this morning. So, again, it looks like the decision's either not been made or something's gone on. I think there's one or two things that's going to happen. When they say about candidates this morning, I think one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to be McSheffrey or someone else speaking between the two and they're sort of still deciding, or, and this is like a theory I've got deep down in my gut, and I think someone else posted this on Twitter in the last couple of hours as well. Someone thinks McSheffrey's turned down the job and they're swooping around for other candidates to try and find an emergency replacement because McSheffrey didn't want it. That's what someone's put on Twitter. That is a couple of people's theories. I'm thinking if that's true and the McSheffrey deal's been pulled the plug, I'd be very, very surprised. I'd be very surprised if the McSheffrey deal's pulled the plug. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised because if I were McSheffrey, who would want the deal? Who would want it? Let's go through some comments already. Big up Aaron, you legend, says Max Tiger HD. DRFC Network, nice to have seen you at the Sunderland match despite the results. And DRFC to survive, hashtag road survival. Now, obviously, we do have a couple of other stories to go through today. Couple of reaction from the Sunderland match. So please keep sharing the stream around. Let's get other people involved in getting in the comment section for this one. But obviously, there's a lot of things going on right now. Like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty about the managerial position. Are we going to see an announcement tomorrow? Are we going to see a revealing tomorrow? Like I said, few people have a gut feeling that they've maybe pulled the plug on the McSheffrey deal. A couple of people think that the McSheffrey deal's got pulled the plug, and it's going to be someone else. I don't know who, but you know, yeah, and this is what makes me think. You know, if the McSheffrey deal's not gone through now, what's going to happen? You know, are they going to swoop round to rejected candidates and give them a call and say, you know, you're still interested, even though we rejected you the first time? It feels like a really embarrassing situation either way, because we're either going to appoint someone with no experience or something's happened with that deal where we're now going to appoint someone who we originally rejected. Not a great look for the club either way. And in fact, One Rovers Vlogs has just messaged me. Just messaged me now saying, just a shambles, mate. I feel sorry for you and your fans. Watched you yesterday as well. You were awful. And that's a little thing on the match as well. I mean, this graphic's come up perfectly on time. So Sky Sports during the match or during the halftime break put up stats after 21 league games from last season and this season. Last season, 13 wins, 37 goals, a 14% shot conversion rate. This season, it's 4 wins, 13 goals, and half of the shot conversion rate percentage. Last season, 2 games we failed to score in, 42 points and 4th position. At this time this season, 11 games failed to score, 16 points, 23rd place. In 12 months at this time last season, what in the bloody hell is going wrong with this football club? What is going wrong? And people will point out several things. They'll point out decision-making by the board, recruitment by the board level, players' performances, the manager situation. it just feels like it's a culmination of different things. It feels like a complete culmination of different things. I don't know. It just feels like a really impossible situation. I'm not intending to go live for a long time, just for a little bit, um, but yeah. Um, will it be open panel for Sunderland reactions? Saw the vlog, by the way. I am going to put the StreamYard link in at some point. I am going to go through some of the other stories first before, we'll. In fact, no, I'll put the link in now. So you guys can come backstage while I'm going through the stories. So the link should be down there now. There we go. So use StreamYard link, come on, join the show. If you're a rival, even if you're not a Rovers fan, you might be a rival fan or you might be a fan of another club. Come into the stream, share your thoughts. Let's get the conversation going. What has gone wrong for Doncaster Rovers? Is it board level? Is it playing level? Is it both? Still loving the content, bro. Thank you very much, Max. Yes, Aaron, cheers for getting me on the vlog. Absolute hero. The club have had long enough to think about this. What are the difficulties? Money and how much the club value a good manager. I think there's something in that. I think it's something to do with the money side of things. Heard on Twitter about a takeover, which was mentioned on Sky Sports, apparently. This was an interesting one. Now I'm going to go on my Twitter again because I'm going to drag up exactly what Liam Hoden said on this, because Liam Hoden has quoted about the takeover that was reported on Sky Sports during the match. This rumored takeover. A few other people heard that and said it was going to happen next month. Now, Liam Hoden's response to this, because someone actually tweeted him and said, any news on new ownership? And they said there's no new ownership. And he actually threaded that by saying, I imagine the Sky commentators may have been referring to the thing about Michael Murray a few months back, but there was absolutely nothing in that. So that is one thing to take into account. On the other hand, there was the talk from Sky Sports on the day, on the match, that we're going to get a takeover next month, or rumored to get a takeover next month. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I really don't know what's going to happen at this point in time. If we announce Gary, the uproar, I think that's the thing. I think we're in a no-win situation here. On the one hand, if we announce Gary McSheffrey as permanent manager, there'll be uproar amongst the fans, and it won't be Gary's fault. On the other hand, if we announce that we're still taking longer to get a new manager, I think there'll be uproar anyway. It's a no-win situation for the board. And unfortunately, and to be brutally honest, looking at this, playing devil's advocate here and looking at this from both sides, they might have taken longer to express their options, or if McSheffrey's turned them down permanently. But on the other hand, playing devil's advocate here, looking at the negative side of it, the board, to be brutally honest, brought it amongst themselves. Largely irrelevant who the new man is. If he's back significantly in the January window, an experienced manager should get us out of it. And that's it, Nicholas. We aren't a million miles away from escaping relegation, but the problem is, I think the problems are written on the wall, and we could be in trouble this season. A lot of people think we're going down. In fact, nearly all the fan base think we're going down. Also, Gary didn't even want the job. Exactly. He didn't want the job. Then he sort of maybe changed his mind, and if he turns it down, then maybe he doesn't want it eventually. Can't appoint Gary will be a shambles. Exactly. Gary McSheffrey's doing a wonderful job with the under-18s, managing them, gaining more experience from inside the club. Gary McSheffrey's getting a lot of experience managing the under-18s. He's gaining that knowledge of the youth academy. He's doing a good job. Let the man rest in peace, man. Let him just work with the under-18s. Let him just stay with that group of players and just appoint someone that's not a former player, has no affiliation to the club, but could come in and demand he gets this, and this, and the board better back him in January. Get in a proper manager with no past of this football club that's going to come in and do a job. There we go. Like I said, StreamYard links in the chat, so if you guys want to come on and have your say, you can do. We're going to be speaking all things Rovers tonight. Gary McSheffrey is better than Wellens. I don't know. We'll have, 1 win in 5. Again, it's not too different. It's not too similar to Wellens. Personally feel that Gary has proven the lack of experience in his time. Exactly. I don't want Gary to go downhill. I think he could be a great assistant manager or a great future number one down the line. But for right here, right now, focus on the under 18s. Don't throw him in the deep end because it's the cheapest way we can work. And just focus. It might not be the cheapest. Maybe the board don't want to do it the cheap way. Maybe it's just a case of they feel like pointing from inside could be the best way to go forward. But again, I'll link it back to last season. Andy Butler appointing from inside. It did not work because the players didn't play for him. The players might play for Gary McSheffrey, but the players didn't play for Andy Butler. I do not want us taking that risk again. Pompey fan here, looking from the outside in, it just looks like a shambles to me with the appointment of your manager. Looks like they didn't have a plan in place after sacking Wellens. I think that's the case. I think it's a case of they were banking on Wellens being good, and then they decide to make the fans' wishes and sack him. But then they thought to themselves, now what do we do? It's kind of like walking into a candy store with about 50 cents. Let's go the American way. Imagine walking into a candy store with 50 cents in your pocket, and you've just got enough to buy that one chocolate bar for 49p. You've eaten it, but you still need a drink because you're thirsty, but you've only got 1p left or 1 cent or whatever. And it's like, now what do I do? You don't have a plan in place. You don't think ahead for future consequences. And I think that's the problem. And again, that links back to footballing decisions and the way we operate as a football structure. I think the football structure needs a major reset button. And a lot of other people think the board should go. That's their opinion. Me personally, I think the football structure needs a reset button. We could still, hopefully, fingers crossed, work under this ownership as long as they focus on the business side and we appoint a director of football and people to focus on the football side of things. That would be the conclusion I would like, because that way, the nice people we have in charge of the club can stay in charge, but we have football people making decisions and the club gets better and better. That would probably settle both arguments, both sides of the story. That's probably how I would do it. But we don't know if that's going to work or not. Who do you want as manager? Me personally, I wanted someone like Paul Clement or Mick McCarthy, someone with a lot of experience, someone you need to back and have no excuses of backing because they've been there and done that, and give them the money. Alternatively, I would like to have seen maybe someone non-UK travel to the UK and become a manager in the Football League. Yes, it would have been a pot shot with our position that we're in, but it wouldn't be a shot in the dark completely compared to an inexperienced manager. It'd be a new, fresh look of ideas. I don't know who, but yeah, I would have liked someone non-UK to have a chance, do something different. Look at Sheffield United. They sacked the manager. Same day they announced the new manager, and it's Paul Heckingbottom. They're actually doing a decent job now. We should appoint ex-Bristol Rovers manager who's kept them up. He's got experience of keeping club up. If you're talking about Graham Coughlin, absolutely no chance. If you're talking about Paul Trollope, absolutely no chance. They're both rubbish managers, in my opinion. And Graham Coughlin did rubbish at Mansfield. Paul Trollope got sacked by Cardiff after leaving them 23rd in the Championship, a position that they shouldn't have been in the first place. And, I just don't think those two managers do a good job. I really don't. Paul Trollope's not managed in the top job for 10 years, and Graham Coughlin's record at Mansfield was atrocious and did more damage. So, for me, I don't think it would work. Is there any early transfer rumours? Apart from the loanee situation, not really. The Free Press came out and said we've got a pair of loanees and several permanent signings apparently on the table. We've done verbal agreements, hopefully, with a couple of them. As far as I know, in terms of loanees, Vilka's going back, Chakur's going back, Galbraith hopefully is going to stay, Dalberg 50-50, but if I had to take a guess, and this is just a pot shot guess, by the way, I don't know anything about Pontus Dalberg inside, but if I was to take a pot shot, especially with the last few weeks with Jones starting, I would personally say Dalberg's going back, but that's just my guess. He might not go back, but I'm just guessing at this point. And in terms of outgoings, I think we're talking more about incomings than outgoings, but we'll see what happens with that. They want to control Wellens. Maybe a good amount of the applicants wouldn't bow to their conditions. Exactly. We need someone that's going to stand up to the board and demand exactly what they want, and then they can give, and no excuses, give them what they want. Look at Leeds under that poor ownership. The talks about the Ken Bates and the Massimo Salinos and people like that, and the whole terrible ownerships, the average mediocre ownerships before Leeds got the person. I know Leeds are a different level exactly. They're the rivals, the Yorkshire rivals, but they're a different class. They were in Europe in the early thousands, so they've got a different pedigree compared to us. But if you look at how their ownership ran before they got the right person in charge a few years back, first few years ago, they never backed the managers. Kevin Blackwell came out and said it in the documentary when Leeds were promoted to the Premier League last season. He wishes he got backed. Neil Warnock was relieved to have left. David Hockaday was dealing with a pest, called Massimo Salino. We don't, we want someone that's going to work with the ownership and get exactly what they're demanding. Big Sam, I wish. The problem is, I think we need a proper manager, not just one of the Donny lads. We need a new board, no cheapskates, and give the money needed. We need a goddamn striker. We have been one for years. And I get you. I really do get you. We need a manager that knows what he's talking about. We need a striker that can finish in the back of the net. And I want, me personally, I'm not Baldwin. I'm not going to say the word Baldwin now. I'm not one of those that's going to say that. But I said we need a reset of the football structure. We need a director of football or someone of that kind in place to deal with the football side of things, so that Baldwin, Blunt, etc. Well, Baldwin can still, get involved in the football side in terms of learning all about it. But I would like Baldwin and Blunt to focus on the financial side of it and get Rovers these big commercial deals, like the new stadium name, exactly. Because the new stadium name is the biggest commercial deal in Rovers history. Concentrate on getting them off the field, and let's let a director of football and a whole football operations team focus on the pitch. That would be my dream wish. If there is a takeover next month or in the future, if the Sky Sports are saying, then so be it. Just hope it's not sold for £2. That's all. That's the only. If there's going to be a takeover at this football club, my only hope is it's not one of those controversial ones where you sell it for £2 to someone who doesn't care. That's my hope, because I want someone who cares at the helm. And if Baldwin and Blunt are thinking about selling it up, then it's going to be to someone that cares. And they've always said that. They've always come out and said if they're going to sell the club, they're going to sell it to the right person for the right amount of money. That's what they've always said. Regarding signings, I feel Marquise could be one. Portsmouth want him out. Plus, he's an experience, has done well with us in the past. Also, if we go down, he can take us up. Marquise has been experienced at this club, and with Tommy Rowe doing well since he's come back, even in a rubbish season like this one, Rowe's done all right since he's come back. So maybe Marquise, reunite the squad, get Rowe, get Marquise, get Joe Wright signed on a new deal when he's back from injury. I think Joe Wright back in the new year. I think Joe Wright's back in the new year, so hopefully maybe we'll sign him up in January. Who knows? Yes, now, says Ted. Heard Neil Lennon wants to send the ship. Neil Lennon, I did say I was a fan of that signing. Marquise is our highest paid player on 5K a week and would require a fee. Marquise wants to move back south. I would say all that means is highly unlikely he'll return to you. And that's a fair point. Heard that Alaves manager is on his way. Don't believe it. It was April Fool's Day in Spain. So it was a bit of an inside joke on a Facebook group. So I wouldn't take any notice of that. If it wasn't April Fool's Day in Spain, then I would have, got a bit interested in that. But because it was Spanish April Fool's Day, I would have, I wouldn't believe it, to be honest. If it wasn't, then I would have sat here and said Javier Calleja could be a good manager. But it's Spanish April Fool's Day, so I won't believe it. If it happens, then fair enough. But it was Spanish April Fool's Day anyway. Yeah, but I feel if no one else wants him, we gladly take him. Again, that's a good point. It'd be good to get a manager in, but it wouldn't work if we don't have the right players. Joe Dadu is not good enough. Joe Dadu is an interesting one for me because in the Wigan squad the previous season, well, to be fair, there was previous times in his career I thought there was moments during his career where he could have been someone good. And I hope he does come good. He still wants to fire goals. It's the talk of an optimistic player. So I want him to turn his form around. But again, that's got to happen under the right manager. If he's going to stay, his form's going to turn around under the right manager that's going to turn him around. Marquise wants to be near his family. Forget him. That's fair enough. Joe Wright and Tom Anderson equals solid back line. Yeah, the Wright-Anderson partnership was decent under Darren Moore, and then that sort of suddenly fell apart when Wright got injured and Moore left the club, and it sort of went downhill. Herb McSheft turned down the manager's job. That's what a couple of people have said tonight, that McSheft has apparently pulled the plug on the deal. In fact, someone actually came out and said it was because of the wage he was offered. We can't confirm or deny that, but we can't even confirm or deny whether he's pulled the plug on the deal or not. But I did see on Twitter a couple of people did saying that McSheff's pulled the plug out, and even one person saying it's because of the wage he was offered. So whether that's true or not is down to anyone. But there we go. To do was signed for 2 seasons. Again, 2 seasons to turn this lad around. It'd be enough for a new manager. To do is good, just very inconsistent, and that's what I mean. That's your opinion anyway. But like I said, there's an opportunity here with to do to make it better, but it's just a case of just focus on doing the best you can. Really, I think that's it. Just to say, this is the quick process. I'm scared to see the normal one. Yeah, if this is quick, I would be very scared about the normal one if it's double that. Let's go through some of the replies then to Liam Hoden's quote, which I've obviously put down below. I'll read it again for those of you who are new around here to the stream. Been asked a few times whether there'll be an announcement today. As I understand it, that was always unlikely. Board members were meeting this morning to speak to candidates afterwards. Note, speaking to candidates afterwards. That says to me that there's still 2 or 3 names that haven't been selected yet. They haven't really made up their mind. Nothing was signed and sealed before today. So even though the contracts will be signed after the weekend, there's actually been no contract signed at all, and it's nearly Wednesday. We're nearly halfway through the week already, and there's still no contract signed. It's a bit of a weird situation. Looking at the retweets, Laughing Stock FC, another day of intimidating a man who don't want the job. 4 days later, we are still waiting. Take your time, lads. Good job, our Bob weren't asked to evacuate Chernobyl. Be sticking all 5 of their middle fingers up at us then. Jesus Christ. Some of the replies are actually vicious. Never known a club like it. It was reported Christmas Eve everything was agreed, but no distractions were wanted to made as their man pulled out. Laughing Stock. Looking at some of the other comments, so announcement tomorrow then, since we were told Tuesday or Wednesday for a formal announcement. And again, that would be an interesting one to see if we do get that announcement tomorrow. If McSheffrey's pulled plug, it'll be interesting to see if they just go on to Paul Trollope or try again. Hopefully it's the board signing over ownership. So some people even want, even coming out and saying publicly they want the ownership to go. So the interview with McSheffrey didn't mean anything as they're doing the same with another potential manager. Bit of hope. You said 4 days ago they were close to a decision. What on earth are we playing at? Bones was sacked 2nd of December. I thought they said they wanted it wrapping up in 2 weeks, was it? And the job advert was written in the 1st as well. So again, we've had the full month to do this, and we still haven't got it. It's been 3 weeks since Richie got sacked. It's actually a joke. To do is worse than Thiago. I'd say they're just as bad as each other at the moment. I think it's just consistency for those two. I would rather have our board take the time on manager to get the right one, in no point just going for the first one available. And that's something you've got to take into account. But also, you got to also take into account on the other hand, I'm playing devil's advocate. On the one hand, I agree with that. But on the other hand, it's been 2 weeks now, and they've had 140 plus applicants. They've whittled it down to a final 5. Then they've whittled it down to a last 2 or 3. And we've still not got the appointment in after all that. I don't know. For me, I don't know. To do is horrendous. God knows why it was on a 2 year. Should have been till January with an option of an extra 6 months if you ever come good. Would free up funds that we desperately needed. I think maybe if to do ever wants to move on in January, especially with this 2 year deal, then maybe someone comes in for him with a bit of money, whether it's a League One club, a League Two club, someone elsewhere in Scotland or something like that. If they wanted to go in for Joe to do and pay money for him, then we get a bit of money in for him. But then the board, again, don't have an excuse if we're not buying anybody when we've got the money for to do if we do sell them in January. Who would you sign as manager? I've said I want someone like a Neil Lennon or a Paul Clement or a Mick McCarthy, but of course they've been ruled out. I'd also like a non-UK manager to come over and come overseas and, bring a fresh pair of eyes to the club. Just seen on Twitter that Galbraith missed Sunderland game due to COVID-19 systems. Actually, I was told that he got his 5th yellow card against Shrewsbury, so I think he would have missed the game anyway. So, it's probably both reasons. Chell, no one is buying Dudu. Someone will buy him. I think someone could buy him. Now, I mean, players, if you was manager, who would you sign? That's a good question, Magic Gomez. I don't know if it's the Magic Gomez, but but no, a good question. That's actually a good question. I mean, I'm going to try and type into who we were linked to in the window. I mean, obviously the big one that we knew we were linked with Will Grigg. That's not happening. That's not happening, obviously. Also, a bit of news away from Rovers, but a former Rovers player, Kieran Sadley, has been chased by Portsmouth, Charlton, and Bolton. So that's interesting. Let's see if any of those 3 clubs sign Sadley in January. Is there any rumors? Please give me some rumors. No rumors as of yet. In terms of who I'd like to see us go for, I mean, let me have a look. So I'm going to have a look at free agents and I'm using the transfer market website, but I'm going to look at free agents because let's face it, that's all we're going to get on permanent signings. So keep in mind that we are after. The Free Press have come out and said several permanent signings and a couple of loanees, which says to me that Vilker and Chakir is going back anyway. So we're going to get 2 loanees in to replace Vilker and Chakir. So I'm going to say a winger and a striker. And then several permanent signings. For me, several would mean 4 or 5. And I'd like to see us get a holding midfielder, an attacking midfielder, another striker, another right back, and maybe another goalkeeper for depth. So looking then at free agents that could be available, that would be realistically available to bring in terms of those that don't have a club. I'm literally having to go to the final page or 2 of the thing. I mean, Tristan and Dam, he hasn't got a club. He's a young 22-year-old midfielder from Ipswich. Would people want him? Adam Clayton played in the Championship, needs a club. Would we pay the wages though for Adam Clayton? I don't know. Going to this last page here, Emir Hughes again. Are we going to deal with the injuries from him? Paul Caddis. I know we have a pass with Paul Caddis after going down the last day in 2014, but we would want an experienced right back to swap in and out with Callum Noyle if he's not playing at times. Thomas Icefield, experienced attacking midfielder. Again, would his wages be too much? I don't know. Let's go through some more comments. Dudu was a panic signing, having bottled Grigg and O'Brien falling through. I'd absolutely agree with that. I think Joe's not to blame for the way we signed him, but I think that was definitely panic. Dudu has never been bought in all of his whole career. That's true. Could make that video, Chal, boy, who would you sign? That's actually a really good video to make. I'll probably do that. I'll probably record that either before or after the Morecambe game, as the January window starts opening and getting into full flow in the first couple of days. Madger and Ted with the ideas, best believe it. Aidan O'Brien, will we go back in for Aidan O'Brien? Personally, I don't think we will, but it would be interesting to see if we do. Need experience, not a 22-year-old free agent. I get that. We should look in non-league. There are loads of good players in non-league. I'd agree with that. I'd absolutely agree with that. In fact, I need to research the name, but there's actually there's a centre-back from FC United of Manchester that can I find him? Yeah, Drew Baker. Now, Gabriel Sutton, who's been on this channel before on the live stream, has actually reported recently in recent days that an EFL club is set to go in for Drew Baker or has already signed an agreement with Drew Baker. I would love it if it was us. Drew Baker is a nice talent. In fact, let me bring up some stuff about Drew Baker because I think he could be decent. I think he could be a decent player for us. So he's not an old player at all. He's not an old player at all. He's in fact, what's his age? Let's have a look. I need to know his exact age. I'm not too sure. I'm actually not too sure on his exact age. I think he's a teenager. I think he's like 17, 18, something like that. FC United Manchester. So he came from the Oldham Athletic Academy. Obviously, you got Charlie Savage congratulating him when he signed. So, I mean, he was getting scouted by an EFL club. So, would he be a decent option? Shimanga, forward for Chesterfield. That would be a good signing. Person to get soon, Will Flipping Grigg, hashtag family friendly. No, Will Grigg's going to be either going back in January or he's going to stay on loan to the end of the season. Yes, let's sign a centre-half from the 7th division to keep us up. And that's the negative of non-league. You know, is that enough? I don't know. All right, I was at the match yesterday at Sunderland fan, but I've got to say, Donny, we're the worst team I've seen us play this season. Unfortunately, not trying to be toxic or anything. No, I know you're not trying to be toxic at all. You're just telling it how it is. I agree. Keep up the hard work, Aaron. Deserve all your subs and fans. Thank you very much. Heard it every game this season. Horrendous team. Absolutely. I remember back in the day when Mr. Ryan wanted to. On league players and got shouted down by the board members. Yeah. Drew Baker, 31. Yeah. Ruben Rodriguez again. Rodriguez. I think that I think he could be a decent player. Chesterfield want 4 or 5 million for Shimanga. Well, that's one player out of the question. In fact, I need to find some stats on non-league. See if I can find some gems. See if we go down that route. That is. And try and build a squad from there. I'll tell you what, though, that's another player that's not got a club, or I think he's not got a club that would be an experienced signing on like a 1-year contract. David Wheater, he's been there and done that, and he's no nonsense and will get that defense firing. So, comment down below, would you want David Wheater in the team? Would he be experienced enough for you guys? Try and sign Delap on loan from Man City. Would Man City loan him out to us? I really don't know. How do I see the latest odds for the manager? In fact, I think the odds got taken off yesterday. I don't know if they're back on. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. No, the odds aren't back on. They're just mentioning. They're still talking about, well, this was back early December, so they were talking about Michael Flynn at this point. Sol Campbell's been mentioned on this article from the beginning of December. Sam Ricketts, Neil Harris, veterans like Lambert, Pulis, Holloway in the job centre, McCarthy, Warnock, but of course Warnock, we can't afford him. If you want this, yeah. On the O'Brien side of things, don't think we would let him go right now. I think it's because Broadhead's injured for 3 months. I think you'd need him at the moment. Grigg isn't going to get recalled. Yeah, he's going to stay at Rotherham. But yeah. Jake Beasley from Rochdale. Again, that could be an interesting one. Wheater played at Bellevue. Yeah, exactly. Get him back. Get David Wheater in. If you're not busy after this, then come on my transfer stream if you want. I'll see what I'm doing. We've got Sam on the show. Sam, bit of an interesting situation with the manager tonight. Nothing signed and sealed and delivered, even though we thought it was going to be signed, sealed, and delivered on Christmas Eve and announced after the Sunderland game, either on the day or today. But now we're being told it could be tomorrow. But we also hear from a couple of people that they've pulled the plug on McSheffrey. A simple question, Sam. How embarrassing are we right now to the rest of football?
Oh, we're a massive embarrassment, mate. Can't even get a manager, and we got told it was going to be 2 weeks, and now it's been like 3, is it?
Well, halfway through this week. They say it was going to be this week, and we're nearly halfway through this week.
Yeah, man, it's done by end of year.
I think. Could you imagine if we signed a new manager the day after deadline day?
No. It's just embarrassing that we got told it was going to be last week, or we got told it's going to take 2 weeks, and then it's not took 2 weeks, and they've said they've made their decision, but now they're going back and just now finalising it. Which surely, when you make your decision, you should finalise it then, right?
Yeah, I mean, we heard it was signed, sealed, and delivered, and an announcement will come. And then we heard today in the last few hours from Liam Hoden that they're still speaking to candidates today to finalise who's going to get the job. So that says to me, either they haven't decided or McSheffrey's not getting it and someone else is getting it.
Yeah, I've seen someone on one of the Facebook pages saying that McSheffrey said they didn't want to go in or something like that. So
and one person said on Twitter it's because of the wage he was offered. So whether that's true or not, I don't know.
It might be, but I can't see it being his wage. Because obviously, I'm guessing that it's going to be more than what is on at the academy.
Yeah.
So I reckon.
And originally he didn't want it, so we kind of had that knowledge already of we're expecting you don't want it anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying earlier. Well, he came out and said that the chairman's just told him to put his CV in, and so he basically said he didn't really want the job. So
yeah,
I think he's just been forced to do that. And then what I think's probably happened is something like he's gone to the board and said, right, if I do go in as manager, I'm going to need this, and that. And the board's going, well, you can't have this, and that. And then just like, same with Butler last year, didn't give him what he needed. And he's obviously seen that and thought, like, no point in me going in on my own because it's obviously not working out right now, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just go through a few comments. Not the manager at fault for losses, but I hope the next one is great for you. The next one has to be crucial because we're going down as it stands. If we don't get the right manager and we don't give him at least half of what he wants, then we're going down. Teddy, and this is an interesting one. He says Hayden Hackney on loan at Scunthorpe until January, but on loan from Middlesbrough from January to the end of the season. Again, I think that's a kid that just doesn't really know the game. We need a proper Rovers squad, in my opinion. I know people saying don't want anyone from Scunthorpe, but I mean, there's a few players that we could get in January, Sam. Obviously, there's a few interesting ones. Looking at the sort of people that are available for free, we're looking at players like Elvis Buomono, that was obviously at Southend when they got relegated. Darren Gibson, he's an experienced lad. Karachan, Paul Caddis I spoke about. Max Clayton, who's a winger from Bolton. Dolly Menga, who used to be at Blackpool. Josh Parker, who used to be a Gillingham player. I mean, are they really going to make a difference? Because we're probably going to be looking at free agents and a pair of loanees. I think that's probably what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I think that's the same. So, loanees definitely. If I think how many loanees have we got? 6 right now.
5, but Vilkovic I think are going back in January, so it'll be down to 3.
Yeah,
if
that's what I was
Dahlberg
going
goes
to say.
back,
If we have 3, and then we've got 2 spare spots for 2 other loans. But
if Dahlberg goes back as well, that'll be 2 loanees, so we might need a new goalkeeper. But I would say get a permanent goalkeeper to compete with Jones, not a loanee anymore. I don't want loanee goalkeepers anymore. I want to see a permanent.
Yeah, I was just saying that like Dahlberg. Well, if Gary McSheffrey gets a job, then Dahlberg can. Could really. Well, I think that he's not going to be first choice, and then he's going to want to go back. So that's why I'm. Go on, sorry.
I think overall the situation is just so bad. I mean, can you see us getting anything this season? Could you see us surviving this season? Because I think the writing's on the wall.
Honestly, it all depends what happens in January. I'm not going to say anything yet, but right now, well, I am going to say something. I can't see us staying up. But if we have a decent January, well, Baldwin said he's got loads of funds for us.
That'll be put to the test. See if they're telling the truth.
Yeah, but if that isn't true, then no, I think we're going to go down. But if it is true and we do have a decent January, then I think there's a possibility of us staying up. But it is going to be hard.
Yeah, 100%. The board will not let a new manager dictate terms. And that's the thing. Should we let the new manager dictate terms? Because surely the manager's got more football knowledge.
Yeah, but it's just what they think. And obviously, they're not doing things the right way, and a lot of fans think that right now. But I'm sure if they don't, they're going to get abused.
On a non-managerial side of things, looking at young players, Hortney has a good future ahead of him. that's the positive for Rovers. The future looks bright with the likes of Horton, Hassani, Jones, Kulea, Ethan Harrison up front. I mean, the future of Rovers could be bright, but can fans wait 5-6 years for these guys to be first teamers? Do we need stuff now?
Yeah, I think we definitely do need some players in now, especially like you said, the future of like the club, especially if Gary McSheffrey gets the job, then it could be well then he's gonna like he's played like right now, all the youth. He's playing quite a young team, but yeah, I think it's definitely bright.
Yeah, we need a proper Rovers squad. Let's sign a 22-year-old free agent. It's all we can do. I think it's all we're realistically going to do. I don't know why we got rid of Lawler. He was decent. The season before he left, he was loaned out and he didn't really get a chance to be involved in the squad. Maybe Penny will finally get Luke Beckett. Oh, well, I got stuck in a time warp and went back 16 years. How come we even dropped Dahlberg? That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point, mate. Why did we drop Dahlberg?
Wasn't it because he was ill one time or something?
And he's not got back in since.
Yeah, no, I think Jones had that good game, didn't he? I can't remember I can't remember which game it was.
I can't remember who we played, but he did have that good game. But I think Dahlberg's had, one appearance since he's come back?
Yeah, he were ill or something like that, or he had a little injury or something like that, and then he couldn't get back into the squad. And Jones had a really good game, to be fair. I think Jones has been solid, really. Did all right the other day. Couldn't really do it about the goals, a penalty. Can't really have an own goal, and the other goal, quite a good goal, to be fair. But yeah, I think he's done good since he's come back in.
Yeah, we need to stop letting our youth players leave on free transfer, get them signed down to a contract, and if any clubs want them, we'll have to pay for them. And this is it. This is what I'm saying. That we have the potential to do the Brentford model, where we build players, we sign them cheaply, we build them up, whether it's youth players or first teamers, and we sign them on for a hefty fee to a bigger club, and we use the money from that to keep rising and rising and rising. But we don't seem to be doing that. And to be fair, I brought it up a couple of times at a supporters meeting and the Meet the Owners event, and Baldwin did say to me, Brentford are happy to lose 20 million a year to do that model and get into the Premier League. And I look at that. I mean, Sam, what do you make of that response that Baldwin's given me a couple of times, where Brentford lose 20 million a year doing it? Is there a way to do it without losing 20 million a year that we can still benefit from?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard, but if you just you're going to have to be paying a lot less money than they're wanting. So say the contract's that, and then but the players are then going to want year by year the contract salary going up, and that's where they're losing the money. But then they can sell them on, and then sometimes it's like. I'm sure that not all of them are going to come through and be world beaters, and then that's where you're going to lose your money when someone doesn't come in and you've still got them still got 3 years left on the contract, and if you want them gone, you got to pay it up, or you just got to keep paying them to be rubbish, really.
Yeah, 100%. Whatever we need, whatever we get, we need a striker as a goal scorer. I mean, the only place we're going to look for a goal scorer is either the free agency or non-league, based on previous history. Looking at some of the names in the non-league score sheet, Sam, I mean, Paul Mullin at Wrexham immediately stands out. Shimanga, but apparently Chesterfield want 4 or 5 million for him. Michael Cheek at Bromley could be an underrated one, even though he's experienced. Paddy Madden, Ruben Rodriguez. There's a few, but I mean, Magic Gomez said it. Carl Hudlin, 6'7", target man, could be the next Marquise. Why don't we take a pot shot at Carl Hudlin?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, especially after coming from non-league. You wouldn't want that much money, and I think we, especially in the Wellings, we loved crossing, so he'd just get his head on end of them, and we'd be scoring good, wouldn't we? I know he's been doing a lot. I did hear that I seen someone on Instagram thinking about that Pep Guardiola looking at him, so it's going to be a tough competition.
Yeah, 100%. going through a couple more comments. You need good scouts to do that. That's very true. I don't even know. I don't even know the names of some of our scouts. I actually don't know. I know we've got Graham Younger, and we're getting this new director of football type role. But apart from that, I don't even know who the other scouts are, if there is any scouts. Continually playing kids could ruin their development. Bring them in sparingly alongside experienced heads is the ideal, and that's why January is make or breaks. We cannot keep playing kids as first teamers week in, week out. It'll just kill them. If we start playing extortionate money, Berry, here we come. And that's what we have to take into account. We don't want to end up like Berry. The board says we have money to spend. Any cheap strikers out there? This is the point I keep coming back to. The board has said we've got significant money to spend and the budget is higher than June. If we've brought in that many players and people like Tommy Rowe and Ben Close that were on decent wages at their old clubs, and we're bringing them in for decent amounts of money. I think Man U will have wanted a decent amount of money for Galbraith on loan, etc. Matt Smith's expensive, as reported about January in the Free Press recently as well from Arsenal. You know, if the budget's higher than June and we signed those kind of players in June, what, you know, if we don't get and spend the money in January, I can see an uproar. I mean, I don't know about you, Sam, but I can expect an uproar if we don't spend the money in January that we know we've got now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that if we have got the money to bring in some players that are, well, buy them out of the contract and spend a bit of money, or we're still just going to go for free agents or loans, I think they're definitely going to be an uproar even if we just get them, because you know that's what happens every year, and we've been told we've got a bit more money. But I heard that the budget's been increasing and increasing. I think Tommy Rowe's on quite a lot of money. I think that's where Wellington hasn't helped the board, because I think he spent most of his budget on him, Ben Close, and one or two others, and that's where he's like, I need a bit more money, so they're giving him a bit more money to get. Was it Joe Dodu and Joe Aluwu after the thingy window? Yeah. Because that's where he used all his budgets. I don't think he's out the board there, using all the money on 2-3 players. So
yeah, absolutely. We need to look at when Grant McCann built that squad, and we need to look at how he built a playoff winning squad, well, a playoff semi-finalist squad, and how he did that, and how he scouted those players. I mean, a couple of people have said in the comments, Connor Parsons, he's obviously on loan at Notts County, I believe, from Wickham. Apparently he looks good. And again, Josh Sims is out of contract. He's out of contract now. Never mind the end of the season. I think he's out of contract now. So again, Josh Sims, you know, his injury affected in the second half of the season, but he's been a part of the club. He's still a free agent now. He's available. We need a Whiteman version 2. Again, this is a good point. We need a new Ben Whiteman. We need to look at a Ben Whiteman type player, that kind of holding midfielder that will do the nice work in the middle of the park, but can still grow with the club, because Ben Whiteman's grown with the club massively before he was sold on to put money back into the club. Whoever scouted Kieran Vulcan needs to be sat there are not good enough. Well, those two are going back in January anyway, so we'll just move on from that. But overall, Sam, I mean, this manager situation, like I said, like we were saying at the start, it's either embarrassing or confusing, because we don't know what the bloody hell is happening. We don't know if it's McSheffrey. We don't know if it's someone else. Villaboy saying Louis Barry. I mean, that would be. I think he's still on loan at Ipswich. A new captain is needed. Nothing has worked under Anderson. I slightly disagree with that. But what do you think, Sam? I mean, like you said, we don't know about the managerial situation. We don't know if it's McSheffrey now. Obviously, StreamYard link's going in the chat, guys, for you to come on and have your say. Cam, use StreamYard link, mate. Come on and have your say. But finally, Sam, yeah, what are you expecting from the manager situation? Do you think it will still be Gary McSheffrey, or do you think that there's too much going on now to think that McSheffrey's taking the job?
No, I do actually think that it is McSheffrey, but they're just trying to get in that director of football, and that's why it's taking so long. But I do think McSheffrey. Well, just look at that. Andy Butler's coming back and watching Donny now. I'm not sure what's happened with him at Boston or Peterborough, wherever he were at coaching or playing. But he's back watching the games now, so you never know, he could come back.
Yeah, there's a real possibility with that. Obviously, he's still managing the Bells. They're top of the Women's National League at the moment, so obviously they're doing well. I mean, is Gary McSheffrey the right man, or do you think it's just too soon?
I think it could be. It all depends in who. Sorry, before Whalings went, we got told we're bringing in loads of different people to help out. Director of football, another physio, yoga people, and all that. And if these people do come in and help out, then I think he could do the job. But if he's just left on his own and not able to do, just not got the stuff around him that he needs, then I reckon that he isn't the right man. It all depends what the board do to help him out, really.
Yeah, 100%. Cal says, not a Doncaster Rovers fan. If you appoint Gary, then it tells you the other prospects aren't happy with the money or direction your guys are heading in. I think you might be spot on with that. Andy Butler, set piece coach. We are looking at a goalkeeping coach and a set piece coach, so maybe Butler goes in there as part of the new staff. Butler didn't work for us as a manager, no. Cam's working at the moment. Once you finish work, mate, get in the stream. You know, if we're still live. Emma Hughes could be worth a shout. He left Ipswich in the summer. I think his injuries might have been something that we sort of stayed away from. But Sam, thank you very, very much for coming on the show. Much appreciated, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
No problem, mate. See you later.
Thank you very much, Sam. Guys, use the StreamYard link. Use your audio like Sam's just done. You don't have to turn your camera on at all. Come on and have your say. Let's get the conversation continuing. Obviously, like I said, there will be more breaking over the week. I am going to be at work tomorrow, 11 till 6. So I'm kind of hoping we don't get an. I want to see an announcement, but I've got to feel I kind of don't want an announcement. Sorry, I've just seen something on Twitter. I've just seen someone put Doncaster Rovers board entering the boardroom, and it's a GIF of the dancing on ice when they're dressed as clowns in a big plank of wood, just skipping on the ice out of the room. It's brilliant. But yeah, like I said, we don't know which way it's going to go. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm just trying to see if there's any more stuff that's come out. Doesn't look like there is. Obviously, I will keep my phone tuned in before I start work. I mean, imagine if they announce it on the exact time I'm supposed to start work, that would be just so infuriating. Yeah, mate, calls will finish at 10:30 p.m. tonight. Brilliant. I might be actually no, I might be finished before then. Unfortunately, I might be finished before then. So yeah. I think that I might be finished. I might be finished before then. But hopefully we'll do a stream later on. Like if we're back behind closed doors, we'll do some of those watch longs like we did last season because they were just class. They were just class. If there's a Donny game to watch, we can watch it on my channel. If Lincoln aren't playing at the same time. Head of Academy goalkeeping as a former pro has been in temporary charge. And the head of the academy, I think he is also a former pro goalkeeper, so there could be decent goalkeeper coaches. Yeah, that's true. I heard a rumor that the reason why Josh Sims isn't signed by a club is because he had really bad COVID twice, and there is a risk with that. Adam Clayton left Birmingham in November. Exactly, so it's not been too long since he's played for a club. Give him the chance, even if it's taking him on trial for a bit to get his fitness up, work with the club. Get him in. It has been a while. Big up, like the stream, guys. Thank you very much, Charlie. I will put the StreamYard link in again. Charlie, get your backside on this stream because I need you to banter me. I need you to banter me because our club's in a mess right now. I have to get back to work now. I'll get in touch with you guys soon. We'd love to get back into the live stream soon. Obviously, it's not nice being behind closed doors, but if we do end up doing that, then, obviously, or if there's an away game and it's being shown on iFollow and I can't get to it, and Lincoln aren't playing on the same day, get in the live stream. We'll do a watch along. Charlie, big up you too. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to find any other stuff about if anything else is going on. There's more people retweeting this and talking about this. And you know what? This is an interesting thing as well. From the 15th, now let's just say this. On the 2nd of January, we've got Morecambe away from home. On the 8th of January, we're hosting Fleetwood at the Eco Power Stadium. From the 15th of January, our next 8 fixtures are Wigan, MK Dons, Plymouth, Rotherham, Sunderland again, Ipswich. Only game is not versus the top 10 team, Portsmouth, and Wednesday. And all the top 4 are in 8 games, 8 of those games. Oh, dear Lord. we could literally, if our COVID situation gets bad again, or we have loads of injuries again, and we keep having loads of injuries, we could end up literally having scorelines that look like 6-0, 6-0, 8-0, 7-0, 5-1, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. It could literally be that bad. Get Andy Butler and Nick Buxton as set piece and goalkeeping coach. That would be an interesting shout. It's the link to react to the game. My stream is on soon, so won't be on here much longer. The link to react to the game. In terms of which game, I don't know yet. So there's no other midweek ones as of yet that are on iFollow. Nick and Andy work well at the Bells. What they're doing well at the minute, so don't really feel like taking them away from there. They're very good. That's fair. That's fair. Evening, Captain Nat. Whatever manager we get in completely pointless. The players can't play, and most of them don't really want to. I will say categorically for a fact that is absolutely spot on. People that were there on the Ken Richardson era when that man tried to burn down the Bellevue Stadium, that bold so-and-so that tried to burn down our stadium, our Bellevue Stadium. We had the on-pitch funeral. We were relegated to non-league, to the conference. People were saying even that squad had more fight than the squad we've got now. That's saying something. When you've got fans like that saying something. Null and void the season. I think that's what every Rovers fan wants, but obviously we can't do that. I still want Butler. I mean, Butler would be an interesting one. I think there's a set-piece coach who would be a decent option. But yeah, guys, the StreamYard link is in the chat. If you are a rival or you are a Rovers fan, come on and have your say. Speak about Rovers. What do you see from Rovers looking on the outside in? Or as a fan, what do you feel as a Rovers fan? Do you feel like we'll stay up this season? Do you think relegation is nailed on and has been nailed on for a while? Who do you want in? Do you think McSheffrey will get the job? Do you think there's too much being said now to think McSheffrey will get the job? What do you think is going to happen? Player or coach. He isn't retired yet. As long as Doncaster Rovers get a manager who will motivate the players that play for the badge and safety of the club, then you should be fine. That's what we need. We need a Rovers squad that will play for the badge every week. Let Butler sign his own players. It depends who he wants. I've been a Rovers fan for about 8 years now, and this is the worst squad I've seen. I hear you, mate. I hear you. I've been a Rovers fan since 2004. I grew up watching Michael McIndoe, and when James Coppinger first came into the club in 2005, and all these different times. I remember so many players in this club. Leo Fortune West, Jonathan Forte. I remember loads of different players that have come and gone on loan and permanently. I wasn't there during the Ken Richardson days, but even their fans are saying this squad is worse than them, worse than the likes of Prince Moncrief. If people are complaining about comparing now with Richardson era, weren't there must be imposters? Yeah, if people weren't there during the Richardson days, then they can't say anything. If they were there during the Richardson days and they're saying it's worse now than it is then maybe they have a point. Unfortunately, I feel Donny are down. I think that might be nailed on. Butler won't come back after what happened last time. Exactly. I think he's fine where he is. Same with Nick Buxton. I think it all depends on who the next manager is and whether they stay up or not. I mainly recall the 2016-17 team, the playoff team. No, it wasn't the playoff team, actually. No, it was the it was the League Two team. When we won in third place, when we could have won first, but we bottled the title to a relegated Hartlepool. Being a Rovers fan for 35 years, and I've seen so much worse than this team. And this is what it is, I think this is the worst squad I've seen in my lifetime, but it's maybe not the worst season that other Rovers fans will have seen in their lifetime. It's definitely the worst Rovers season I've seen in my lifetime, but I think for other people it's maybe not. So, I mean, I've got old programs from previous family that have been to see Rovers at the Old Bellevue. I've got a digital copy of the program, and I've also got an actual copy of the program from when Liverpool played us at Anfield in a league match in 1957. So, there's people that have been there under different eras and different good or bad times. So, maybe it's not there here. I was there under Richardson. Still is a million times better. And this is what I mean. Some fans think it's worse. Some people think it's just as bad. Some people think it's better. They're entitled to their own opinions. I think we can all agree the squad this season is not good enough, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Do I think this squad is worse than the Richardson era squads? Maybe. But do I think it's the worst season like in the entire history of Rovers in the whole sort of 140 odd years that we've been alive? Maybe not. It's close in the top 3 or 5, but maybe not. But I can't say that for certain because I haven't been alive for 140 years, so I haven't seen every single season myself. Keep an eye on new young signing Faulkner. Watched him play in the Youth FA Cup tie. Rumours about around the ground was Middlesbrough after him. That's an interesting one. I'll have to keep our eyes out for that one. I'd like to see Bobby Faulkner given some minutes in the first team for a little bit. I'd like to see him maybe given a chance then. Give him some senior football, get him used to the game a bit more. Or is that too soon? I don't know. Also, the Knights and Bells are performing well. Knights 4th in their league and Bells 1st were all owned by same people. Why isn't it working for us? Not the ownership, clearly. And I think that's the sort of plus side with the ownership. I think maybe, and this, I think some people, I know you're not saying it, Silent Viking. I know you're not saying it, but that's why some people sort of think that I'm up the board's backside, and some people think that other people are up the board's backside. I'm not. I just think that the football structure needs changing. I don't think the ownership needs changing. I think the football structure needs changing, and that's it, basically. He's played senior football already, just not at League One level. Yeah, I get that. Let's try. Let's try and get some more people on. The ball says the ambition to get to the championship, but we do not see their ambition. Ryan said he had ambition to get to the championship, and he showed it, and we got there. And this is what I mean now. The board's new, fresh football structure needs to back their talk. The board have talked and talked and talked, but even though we came close during the playoffs once under Grant McCann, we haven't backed our talk. Now, with a fresh football structure, with a director of football or someone like that in place, with a brand new head coach or manager, it's probably going to be a head coach at this point, and with a fresh football structure in place, now they need to back up the talk with the evidence. We need to start rejecting bids that come in installments. I think that's a plus for me. I think I would agree with that. Obviously, times have changed in football, but I would definitely agree with that. But yeah, what do you think to Marquis back? Not going to happen. I think he wants to move down south. Where is the bids on players like we did with Billy Sharp? Again, I think that was a one-off, and that's when we were spending money. But I think, like I said, the board, I'll always respect the board because they've kept us, we wouldn't have a football club thanks to them. I think they came out and said in a meeting once that we were, when they came in, we were like 10 million in debt. And now we're in a position where the HMRC debts have been cleared or about to be cleared in the new year or by March. Player debts have been cleared. EFL loan debts have been cleared. The budget's increasing year on year. Who knows? Maybe maybe the last couple of years under Darren Moore and Richie Wellens and Andy Butler's caretaker, where there's been minimal to spend, have just been trying to clear the debts and trying to increase the budget even over COVID. If we kept Whiteman, we would have been promoted last season. I think that could have been a major factor, and also keeping Darren Moore. Ryan got to the championship with Terry and Dick Watson's money. Yeah, I think Bramall will still put the money in. It's just a case of how we use it and do we use it well. William Mackay back. I mean, that's your opinion. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I'm going live on my channel, so I'll see you soon. If you come on, that's fine. I've got a lot of stories to talk about, so it may take a long time. No worries. I'll hopefully hop on there as soon as possible. Let's all congratulate on 1.26k subs. Thank you very much. But I think we're probably going to leave it there. I might actually go on Max's stream, to be honest, talk about transfers. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for this stream. We would be able to bring in more money, more players if we got the money from Marquise and Whitemeal and do it quicker. That's true. Unless the installments are providing more money down the line to increase our budget year on year, which would put 2 and 2 together. But there we are, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this stream. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, I will be back as soon as possible. If there is an announcement tomorrow, the video will come out in the evening because obviously I'm working from 11 till 6. And if it's tomorrow at 11 o'clock, then obviously I can't really film a video when I start my shift at 11 o'clock. It'd be a very, unless I could freeze time itself and do it and save it and then restart time, then maybe, but it's unrealistic at this point. So it will be in the evening tomorrow if we do make that appointment announcement in the morning before 11 o'clock. If not, then there's nothing to report. But there we are, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. If there isn't a video tomorrow, stay tuned for the preview for Morecambe on New Year's Day. I'll probably pre-record it the day before, because I don't start working until 4 o'clock. But saying that, I'm working until 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, so that should be fun. But overall, I should hopefully pre-record the preview on before New Year's Day, or the day before New Year's Eve, sorry, and then get it out on New Year's Day, or one of the two. But for now, guys, I'm Aaron Chandler from Pro Football DRFC. Keep living the Rovers life, and I will see you guys in the next video very, very soon. Take care, guys. Thank you very, very much. And I will see you all in the next video, either tomorrow or the preview for Morecambe beforehand. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Cheers, guys.